Well, I have two sets of wheels that I worked on this week, and even though they are different in style, they both have the same symptomatic problem. They have both come from the Midwest or Eastern area, which is higher humidity, and when they come out to this Western country where we have such a low humidity, they tend to dry out and become loose. This first set of wheels is a set of Sarvin wheels. Although they are somewhat poorly built, they have dried out since they have been out in this country. So I need to go through and reset the rivets and hopefully reset them more correctly and tighten these wheels up so they can be usable again. They have rubber tires on them, but I'm going to reset the channel, and if you're interested in how rubber tires work, I have a playlist that shows that in more in depth. Now the second set of wheels that I had to work on this week has also gone through some extreme drying out and shrinkage in the wood. And this really shows up in the circumference of the felloes when you have a big gap like this that shows up at one of the joints. Now wheels have dish to them, as you are familiar with probably if you've been following along. And as you look across the face of the wheel, you can see this dish that is designed to be in these wheels. Well, if I were to set this tire on this wheel as it is with the amount of space that there is, the dish on this wheel would increase severely until this joint came together where this big gap is. Well, the owner of this wheel wasn't interested in replacing the felloes on this, but he uses these in movies, so he'd like to keep these wheels original even though they are old and weathered like they are. So in order to fill this gap, if I put a piece of wood in there, this wood would be stiff, hard, rigid, flat, where the ends of these joints are actually pretty rough because of their weathering. So I have some real heavy leather here, about 3/8 of an inch, that I can cut a piece and put in this joint that will conform to the rough edges of the ends of these fellow joints and actually fill in that space, so when I set the tires on these wheels, I will not increase the amount of dish that's already in these wheels. Now these wheels were built by Stoughton Wagon Company in Stoughton, Wisconsin. Wisconsin is much higher humidity than we have out here in Montana. Now Stoughton wheel has its own signatures oftentimes wheels have double rivets on the rims where the spokes come and intersect. Stoughton only used one. Most wagon wheels have 12 spokes in the front and 14 in the back. Stoughton built those where they had 14 in the front and 16 in the back. These are just some signatures of a Stoughton wheel. Now these wheels have a feature that I have not seen for a number of years. When I first started in the wheelwright business, I saw this fairly regularly. But these wheels show that they came from the Midwest, these actually from Wisconsin, and when those pioneers headed out west and settled in this dry, arid country, their wheels dried out. Well, there was not a wheelwright or a blacksmith available to many of these pioneer families. So they had to improvise, whether it was on the trail or once they actually settled out here in this western country. Well, if you did not have the means to cut and forge weld and shrink a tire down to a new size to accommodate the shrunk wood, then you had to improvise. One of the methods that they improvised was in actually building these wheels back up. And one of the methods was by wrapping the wheel with canvas, either burlap or canvas itself, and then reset the tire without changing the circumference of the tire. This in essence built the wheel larger to match the same diameter or circumference of the tire. So then they could reheat the tire, shrink it on, and have a tight wheel again. Well, this wheel, or this set of wheels, shows evidence of that type of repair that has not been changed for many, many, many years. So it was not only done with the tire, but we can also see that it was the same method that was done underneath the hub bands. Well, the owner of these wheels and the wagon that goes with them is in the business of providing old original wagons to the movie companies that are shooting films of the Old West. So it's nice to see an old original set of wheels still preserved. Therefore, it was worth preserving what they were instead of trying to put new wood in and make them into something new. Anyway, I appreciate you following along this process. Just the ingenuity of a pioneer somewhere that went through, used what he had at hand, preserved his wheels in the best method he could, so we have some still original wheels left today. Once again, thanks for watching.